Few minutes before I'm starting, just preparing everything. If you want to send me a message, officialshortwaveradio@gmail.com. This is WWV. The official start of the Hangouts at 1900 UT. The clock here is about 3 seconds, so you can check the time here. Anyone watching sees a delay of some sort. 20 seconds, 30 seconds is fine. 5 minutes is not. Quality of the video. I got a new router, so it's the first Hangout I'm doing with that router. Hope the video holds up. It's in HD. So it does require a lot of Wi-Fi data. You can also, there's a question and answer thing on the Hangout page. You can actually click there and send me a question. Send me a question on a Hangout, Google Plus of the YouTube channel, and of course, official shortwaveradio@gmail.com. And we're going to start in a few minutes. We're at 7 spectators. Let's see what it goes like. If you have any questions about radio, shortwave radio, portable radio, antennas, anything, why not ask away? And we'll try to answer any questions that we have. Please give me your name and location when you do, because it's going to be much easier. Already 2 emails here, so I think it's going to be a nice Google Hangout, shortwave Hangout. Oh, Matt. Hey, Matt, in California. San Francisco, California. Why did I choose this time? Well, you know, I always choose Hangouts in the evening. Problem is, the evening means late night in Europe. So we miss out on all the European listeners. By doing a Hangout at this hour, it's evening across Europe. I'm hoping to have more European spectators. Although we do have some Europeans even when it's late at night. You know, people get up at 2 in the morning to come and watch the Google Hangout. WWV, 20 megahertz, coming in not bad, S7. I used it to check my clock, and also I like starting my Hangouts with the WWV time, so that you know that it's 1900. Oh, man in San Francisco telling me the video quality is great. Nice to know. If anything happens, please let me know. Sound level, I hope the sound level is cool. I see here when I watch that the little bars actually move quite, you know, to the max of the. Yeah, my setup is I've got my Toshiba laptop here. This is running the Google Hangout app, video app. That's where the camera that is pointing at me is plugged in. It's an HD camera from Logitech. And right here in front of me, so if I look down often, It's because I have my MacBook with the Google Plus page and also Gmail for the official shortwaveradio@gmail.com address if you want to write an email. Alors, bonsoir Patrick de la Savoie, sud-est de la France. Bienvenue. We have a French listener here, Patrick, in France. Cool. So we're at 11, 12 spectators. Coming great. Where did I learn my French? Well, I'm in a Quebec province is a French-speaking province of Canada. And so my native language is French. And my English comes from the streets. I had some friends that I was playing with when I was like 7 or 8 years old, and they only spoke English. So I had to learn English to play with them. That's where I learned my English mostly, and watching a lot of American sitcoms. So welcome to the Google Hangout. This is, I believe, my 4th one. The 2 first one I did was in the kitchen. If everybody remembers, my radio was on the top of my dryer. Then experimented in taking my radios, putting them here in my office, because this is my office. This is the radio part of the office, and on the other side is my office with computers. And for those that don't know, I'm a tech guy. I fix computers. Been doing that for 15 years now. Welcome to the Google Hangout. First, one question that a lot of people ask me is why I did my Hangout today at this hour. I mean, we are mid-afternoon here. It's 3 p.m. in Montreal. That means it's noon on the Pacific. So we are afternoon, you know, in North America. But one of the reasons I wanted to have it at this time is to get people like Patrick and friends that are European listeners. By the way, if there's a lot of noise, I'm sorry, but the window's open. It's a very beautiful day in Montreal here today. We're at 21 degrees, and so there might be some noise from the outside. I've rounded some of the most popular questions I get on my shortwave channel, and I'll go through them slowly today. And I'm expecting you guys to have a little feedback. Also tell me what you guys are listening, either on the Google Plus page of my channel, which is official SWL channel, and this is a YouTube channel. You can also, there's a question and answer thing here that people can send me questions. So if I look here, I can, you know, check out. People sometimes use this to send the questions. Or you can send me, if you're not really techie, send me an email. The address is official shortwave radio, in one word, official shortwave radio @gmail.com. So this is going to be cool. I think we're going to have fun. So hello, Matt in San Francisco. Hello, Patrick in France. Hello, Gordon in southwest part of England. Nice to see you guys. These are people that are actually sending me email. Patrick was on the Google Plus. He asked me a little earlier what's the link to the Hangout, so I gave him the link. We are at 24 spectators. It's rising. That's not bad. So I thought that while we'll do the hangout, and maybe you guys can share signals that you are hearing in your part of the world, see if we can, maybe interact with the radio. I was thinking that I'll slowly tune down from 30 megahertz today. Since we are mid-afternoon, in the maximum usable frequency, quite high, probably that would be nice, and see what kind of signals I'll hear. I'll try to ID these signals if possible. Another thing here is a few pointers. If I was checking earlier, Radio Kuwait coming in a little weaker than usual, 15,540 in English right now. Why not try it out? This is my summer radio station, I call it, because Radio Kuwait, they always stay on 15,540, which is a bad choice for winter, because starting late September and pretty much throughout winter, we don't really hear them. But summertime, it's Radio Kuwait, a mix of Kuwaiti programming and a lot of pop music. They have a lot of American pop music. At times, you know what? I had the impression of listening to a local FM pop station. You'll hear stuff like Lady Gaga and stuff like that, rock music. So, if you have any questions, please feel free to ask away. That's very important. We're going to talk about different subjects today. First question about radio, the Voice of Russia. Voice of Russia, there's a lot of speculation that Voice of Russia might come back on the air. We don't know, actually. There's no real idea of yes or no. What happens with Voice of Russia is that they did some modifications on the HFCC. The HFCC, for those that don't know what it is the High Frequency Coordination Committee, I think. And what they do is they receive all the requests of the schedules of every scheduled times, because shortwave radio schedules change 2 times a year. And they try to coordinate stuff so that there's no interference. And what's interesting about Voice of Russia, even though they left shortwave at the beginning of the year, they are still making changes to frequencies. And that sends a lot of speculation, especially on the DX Listening Digest Yahoo group, which is a great channel, a great Yahoo group. If you like to communicate with our other radio listeners, the DXLD, DX Listening Digest Yahoo group, is a great place. Lots of information, lots of loggings and info on what's happening in the shortwave world. That's where Glenn Hauser posts pretty much everything that he wants to post, including his DX Listening Digest lists, or like bulletins. We'll say that like that, bulletins that he updates regularly. And if you don't know what those are, DXLD at yahoo.com, the DX Listening Digest. Why not go there, ask for a to become a member. It's free. It's a great place. If you ask for membership, give a little detail of who you are, and how and when and how you listen to your shortwave, so that everybody knows it. Hello, Paul, in the Netherlands. Welcome to the Hangout, and thanks for letting me know you are there. It's really fun to see people from all over the world. Paul, which is a amateur radio operator, actually. Papa Delta 1, Papa Mike Echo. So if you ever hear this guy, PD1 PME. Might have heard you on the bands. You never know. I listen a lot to amateur radio operators. And actually, I'm this close this close to getting my ham ticket. So Radio Kuwait 15540 is one of those stations right now that's coming in. There's a very weak Voice of America on 15580, but nothing special. So I'm going to go back up to 30 megahertz. If you guys have logins of anything that you're listening in your part of the world and you want us to try it here. First question, I'll go to the first question, which I receive quite often. Where am I located? It seems that I don't say enough where I'm located, and that I should say it more often, because people watch the videos and say, where the hell is he? I'm located in Montreal, Quebec, Canada. Montreal. That's the northeast part of North America, province of Quebec in the eastern part of Canada. And that's why I know my French, because this is a French-speaking province, the only real French-speaking province we could say in Canada. And so this is where I do my listening. I do agree, it is true that maybe I should say it before I do my videos. So when I start tuning around in the videos and with comments, a lot of people say, well, I don't know where you are. So, okay. And, you know, because it's written and because you say it in some other videos, you think everybody knows it. And that's true. I have to say it a little more often. So that's the first question. I'm in Montreal. Very nice day today. It's, 21 degrees Celsius outside. It's a sunny day, very nice day. And somebody's sending me a text message for some reason. And so, sorry guys. Okay. Okay. That's a little funny guy that actually is watching the Google Hangout, and there's a friend of mine that's just saying, I know where you are. Yeah. A guy called Fastlow, and member of my YouTube channel. Doesn't live very far from here. And he's watching. So, hey there. So, that's it. Montreal, that's the first question. It's done with. Bye-bye. Hello to Judy in Fort Worth, Texas, watching and asking me what is that radio, or what is that a radio on top of the radio, the one that has a clock? Oh, I probably mean this one. That's an internet radio, actually. It is a Sangean WFR20, and it's a internet radio, so this plugs into my Wi-Fi, and I can listen to radio over the internet. An example, I was listening to Radio Sweden this morning, a podcast that I programmed in so that I can listen to Radio Sweden via the internet. I listen very often to the BBC with it because it's always nice to have that little radio thing here. And so this is a great little radio. It's a little expensive. I paid like $250 for it, and it's still sold like a $250, $280. It's a nice internet radio. Has great sound, but you know, it is radio over the internet, so you know, things of course get a little more. You know, quality is usually quite good. And it's a great music boombox also, because with all the choices of stations over the internet. So all I have to do is, you know, go to my my stations, for example, that I programmed in. There's like 16,000 choices in here, and I can click, you know, for example, my stations. I'll go to let's say the BBC here, BBC World Service, and click live, and it's going to connect to the BBC feed. And here we have
territories that we're giving back to the Palestinian self-control, we're giving back for peace, we're giving back under clear commitment, written
So it's you know, a great way of listening to what you want. You know, if I have a choice, if the BBC comes in here really clear, I'll listen to it over shortwave. I prefer shortwave over internet radio, but the main reason of internet radio is because of a great choice of channels, and especially for the music, it's just amazing. You get pretty much every type of music. So that's what it is. Thanks, Julie, for the question. If you have a question, there's a question and answer app on the Google Hangout page. There is official shortwave radio, all in one word, official shortwave radio at gmail.com. That's where you can let me know that you are watching. Stan from Ontario. So thank you for being here. Nice to see you, and really cool to have you watching. Don't worry, if any one of you have questions, please send me these questions. There's no dumb questions, and I'll be happy to answer any questions. You know, shortwave radio is a difficult hobby. There are a lot of things to do. Before I continue on, I'm going to tune a little bit. We're going to go from 30 to 25 megahertz and see what we can hear. Now, I don't expect to hear a lot here, but let's see what we can hear, and I'll comment on what bands we are in at the same time. So first of all, for this tuning, I'll probably put it in upper sideband. Why I put it in sideband? First of all, if there's a weak signal in sideband, it's easier to see that it's there. I always tune in sideband. Another thing to do is not to go too fast also when you're tuning around. And we'll see what we can do in the reception. And we are at 46 spectators, which is really nice. I'm happy. I've got a question here. Okay, Jean-François Trudel asks me that he says he's got a Texan PL660, which is a good radio actually, and he's asking me, is it worth it to buy an ICOM IC R75 or the Alinco? Probably what he's talking about is the Alinco desktop, the little desktop. Is it worth it to go from a PL660 to one of those receivers? It depends on your listening, actually. I can say that the PL660 is actually one of the very, very good portables right now. And is it really better to have, for example, the ICOM ICR75 that I've seen very often working? One thing about that is what you can do with the R75 that the PL660 has a little problem with is have a very long wire. The R75, you can put a 40, 50 feet wire outdoors for an antenna, and it's not going to overload. And so for very weak signals, I think, yes, there is more to it. But that said, if your environment where you are listening is very noisy, like here, just check the noise out. Okay, like at 30 megahertz, let's go down here, 29 megahertz, not too bad. But if I go down to here 35, that's a little higher. If I get to 22, now I'm at S5 noise. I have a little lower noise here, but if I go below 12 megahertz, look, 11 megahertz, I've got S7. And if I go at 7 megahertz, almost S8. So this is horrible. And having a great receiver like this R8500 in such a noisy environment lowers what I can catch, actually. It really, really lowers all the possibilities. And you know what? I think it might be even more interesting to just keep your PL660. And if you have too much noise where you live, at least you can easily pack it up, go in a park, go somewhere, hang a little piece of wire in a tree, you know, sit down in a chair on a nice, beautiful day, DX from there, and you'll probably have more. But the differences in these receivers is not that great. You know, I would say that for very weak signals and for very difficult stations very close together and stuff like that, this has an edge over a portable. But, and it doesn't overload on a very long wire. It never does. But that said, when I go out and DX, when I do my DXpedition videos with a portable, actually, it doesn't matter because the portable receiver with no noise gets pretty much the same signals as this one, and it costs a lot less. So it's, you know, personal. I am a big fan of shortwave radio and of radio in general. That's why I got this radio. But I would say that if it's just for casual listening and all of that, I think it's enough to have the Tecsun PL660. It is a great receiver. I've seen all the reviews. I've never tried it personally with PL660, but all the reviews that I've seen, everything is really, really, really nice. A lot of people saying that it's great, great radio, and it does sound. Mr. Patrick saying that Kuwait is loud and clear on 15540 in France. I think 15540 is both used for Europe and North America at the same time. And since you are closer to Kuwait, it might actually come in better than here. It's usually stronger than that here, by the way. We are having a little bit of geomagnetic activity here. So thanks for the question. Okay, we have Bartek Papierski. Sorry if I have problems with some names. It's the same thing. You know what? My name is pronounced Gilles, but because the way it's written in English, nobody knows how to pronounce it. And I don't know how many names, different names, Gillis, Gillis, whatever that I've heard over mailbag shows on shortwave. So, hey, welcome to the Hangout. I live in a flat with very limited antenna conditions, and thus I would like to hear your thoughts and opinions on such antennas. Loop antennas, talking about loops. So, okay, you remember, yeah, I did a video where I showed a loop antenna that you can actually make yourself. The biggest problem for me for making these videos is time. Time is difficult when you work. In a very limited space, pretty much everybody agrees that a loop antenna seems to be one of the best antennas for shortwave radio because it is so directional that it actually really lowers the noise level. And I would really like to have a loop on this radio and see how it works. So yes, I still plan to make a recording of a loop antenna. Actually, I want to have a recording of a loop antenna, and it's quite easy to do. And this guy's trying to make me laugh here. And so what's happening is that loop antennas, yeah, you see, he really, really is trying to. So, yeah, I want to make the videos for the loop antenna, and I'd like to make them, like a sequence and try to, because the loop antenna on the website that I've seen is quite easy to do. But it does require one little part that I have to salvage from a radio, a little tuning capacitor inside an AM radio. And I believe I have one really scrapped AM radio somewhere here that I can probably take the capacitor and tune the loop with it. But I definitely would make the videos and try to make them as easy as possible so that everybody that wants to do it would just follow step by step and do what I'm showing. And of course, testing the antenna afterwards. It's really easy, and except for the tuning capacitor, the loop antenna actually requires very easy to find parts, PVC tubing, like in the plumbers use plastic, tubes, and pretty much it's extremely simple to make. So I have to take the time and actually make these videos. And yes, I think pretty much everybody agrees that a loop antenna for shortwave radio in a limited space where there's a lot of noise is one of the best antennas. Yes, I will make those videos. I promise. I'll try to do it. I think it's a very nice project for those days that are getting a little cooler here. So Paul, yeah, that's what we're talking right now about the magnetic loop antenna. The same thing. Yep, I've never tried it. Never tried it yet. But everybody's telling me I have to try it because it's just so great for the noise and all. And I promise during September or October we're gonna have videos. I'll be making one and testing it. And who knows, maybe I'll be using it only this one. The problem right now, I've got two antennas on this radio because this radio has a very wide range. I've got a long wire on HF. I also have a 102-inch CB antenna. It's not plugged in right now because of the distance. I didn't have enough cable to bring it up to the office here. You gotta know that this radio is far from the antennas right now. So the problem is I have to pass wire all through the house, which is a little complicated. So loop antennas, definite yes, apparently, and I will be trying it out and making videos about the performance of those. We've reached 60 spectators, which is really nice. I've never had 60 spectators. Welcome, guys. Official shortwave radio in one word. Official shortwave radio @gmail.com if you want to send a question. And why not let me know where you are in the world? I want to know. So let's tune. I wanted to tune a little earlier. We're going to tune from 30 to 25 and see what we can hear. I don't expect much, but and then we'll go from 25 to 20 and 20 to 15. And if anyone's listening to a signal. So let's start. What are we going to catch between at this frequency? Well, this is more like a utility band up to like 29.7. I've rarely heard stuff. I heard maybe one digital teletype signal once. This is more of interference than anything else. These are, I think this is my cable modem, actually. So nothing here. Now, one thing is that starting at 29.7, this is the 10-meter amateur radio band, all the way down to 28. At 29.7, I would switch to FM. Why? Because from 29.300, 29.700, it's FM. It's the 10-meter FM band. So yes, there was a question. One of the questions people were asking is what is there FM on the bands? And yep, there is FM on the bands. This is one case. nothing much right now, and that's pretty much what I expect. But if I do the same hangout in December, you'll see that winter months is actually much better on this band. Starting at 29, I'll go back. A lot of amateur radio operators at 29 to 29.200 use AM mode. And from 28 to 29, it's regular upper sideband for ham radio operators in 10-meter band. Solar flux is very low. I don't expect to hear much here at 28. So really nothing much here. From 27 to 28, pretty much a mishmash of CB signals. In-band and out-of-band CBs. So here we have Spanish. So this could be either south of the United States or Central South America CBers, 27665. Interesting to hear that there is activity. So you see that it skips. Even though solar flux is low, 27.665, means 10-meter bands probably open. More signals here. $27,555. Anyone that wants to try and listen to CBers that like to DX, that's a general calling frequency. Europe and North America. 27,555. You just stay there in upper sideband, and you'll hear stations. What actually they do? The CBers go on 27,555. They call out for any other station, and when they find a station they want to have a contact, they actually will say, okay, let's go to 27,600, and they'll leave the frequency alone and go somewhere else, which is a nice way of actually doing things. So this is probably, we can call it, it's not official because it's out of band and it's actually pretty much illegal throughout most of the countries in the world, but 27,555, I would call it the international CB calling frequency. So that's a great place if you want to see if you can hear CBers. Lots of Europeans. In the winter, I hear Europe a lot on this band. So let's continue our tuning. So starting at 27,405, this is the official North American CB band, divided into 40 channels. So it's nice to see. Hey, Mr. Raptor 22 Stealth, welcome. Okay, well, our Mr. Raptor 22 Stealth, David, if I remember well, I'm trying to remember the name. I think it's David. Listening to the buzzer, Russian buzzer, which is a kind of mysterious Russian signal, kind of spy signal, on 4625 right now. In Spain, And he says that he's in the Spanish countryside, slow internet connection, the Hangout drops out, but he switched to Firefox and it seems to work well, so cool. It's nice to see that you're here. Really, really, really nice. Hi, it's Marcus from Chile. Can you listen South American stations like Radio Wanta 2000, Eura, Radio Pio 12, or Radio Nacional Amazona, among other Latin American stations? Yes, yes. Marcus, in Chile, we hear a lot. Radio Nacional Amazona is the easiest. Even with a little portable receiver, Radio Nacional Amazona is the station that pops in. Starting late afternoon and all evening, 11780 and 6180 are booming in the Portuguese. Yes, I do hear Radio Pio 12. I hear radio, I don't remember the exact names, but there are a few Brazilians, and when I do my tuning, there's actually a guy in Brazil that often sends me corrections, tells me some of the stations I was unable to ID, for example. And there is a lot of activity from South America that you can hear. Another one that I can hear sometimes when conditions are good, 4055 from, I think it's from Guatemala, that I can hear sometimes. But lots of Brazilians, that's for sure. And but Radio Nacional Amazona is really, really strong. One station that I remember listening from Chile, well, not listening, but I could hear, is the CBC, the Christian Voice. They had transmitters in Chile. And other stations that I can hear from South America or Latin America, there's Argentina, Radio Nacional Argentina, RA, 11710. They're off frequency always, so they're like 11710.8. That depends on propagation. It's not always easy to hear Argentina, but sometimes I do listen to Argentina from time to time. Fall, you know, September, October is a great time for Argentina. The north-south path are good, and it's like the greatest time to try it. So, hey Marcus from Chile, it's nice to see you. It's fun to have all of you guys over here. Hi from ALF or Alford. Welcome to the Hangout. It's nice to see you guys. 67 spectators right now. So I'm just gonna finish the tuning here. Tuning of the CB band for the channels. There's our local CBers. And this is the lowest part of the CB band here in North America. 27965 is equivalent to channel 1. I will switch back to upper sideband and tune down because there's out-of-band CBers below the band also. Remember, you can send me an email at officialshortwaveradio@gmail.com. Let me know you're listening. We're at 70, so there's a lot of people watching. Not a lot of people are actually participating and sending me their locations. And to answer another question about FM, there is in North America a lot of FM stations that have studio-to-link transmitters between 25.700 and 26.200, and sometimes you hear the studio to transmitter links. So here, that's FM mode most of the time. I haven't heard one in a few months now. Seems better in the winter. And in Europe, there's a lot of DRM, Digital Radio Mondiale, on the 25 megahertz band. It's kind of a local DRM band in some European countries, actually. And finally, tuning back down, I don't expect much. So not a lot of signals, as you see, but we did hear some Spanish CBers, probably from, it's difficult to know, because in Spanish it could be from the southern part of the United States. There's a lot of Spanish-speaking people, but it could be from Latin America and South America also. So, 70 spectators, which is a record. Never had so many. What else do you have here? 15476 faint carrier from LRA Antarctica. I've never DX'd this station. And actually, I'm 0 here. If there's one station I'd like to hear is LRA 36 from Argentina, or Antarctica, sorry. It's I believe the Argentinian base in Antarctica. I've never heard, so you must have great path with them. I've seen a lot of Europeans reporting the station, much more than I've seen North Americans, so I don't know if it's the path of the signal, but it seems to be better across the Atlantic. More logins over there. Maybe you guys have less noise. Even though my noise level isn't that high, I got this little buzzing here on 15476, which is annoying. So you guys, hey, anyone else want to try it? LRA 36, which is the Antarctica Argentinian base. They have, I believe, Spanish programming. And Patrick in France says that on 15476 right now, they are on. So he says there's a faint carrier. So probably not enough to listen to it, but at least you can try it out. That is interesting. Hi from Baltimore. Catman. Is there another name with it? Jeff. I think it's Jeff. Jeff here, yeah. Nice to see you. Question: when conditions on shortwave are bad, does either medium wave or long wave DX pick up? Or would it be better to try either FM or TVDX? There are multiple answers to that question. First of all, welcome to the Hangout. Nice to have you guys watching. When conditions on shortwave are bad, it's very complicated. What should you do? Let's say you're a real radio fan, and you're at home, and propagation's bad on shortwave. You don't hear much. What would somebody like me, for example, do? First of all, even when propagation is bad on shortwave, there's always something. And propagation can be bad from one direction, but be good in another. An example, this week we had not great propagation this week. We had a lot of geomagnetic activity. There was a G1 geomagnetic storm. It affected shortwave a lot, to the point where Romania, for example, that is an easy catch usually here, was not even coming in on 9700 yesterday and the day before. So that's bad. But it doesn't mean shortwave is bad for everyone in every direction, and that's why even if you do a little tuning around, it doesn't seem great. Why not tune slowly? And you might have enhanced signals from other parts. That's the first thing. And I noticed that when you have geomagnetic storms, east-west signals are bad. but north-south signal seems to be enhanced, and often you hear these South American stations that are often in the noise regularly, and they're suddenly popping out and actually listenable for a while. So that's one thing you could try for. If shortwave is bad, would it be better to go to medium wave or long wave? First of all, long wave is pretty much unaffected by geomagnetic storms and stuff like that. Long wave below 400 kilohertz is usually unaffected because long wave does not skip like short wave. Long wave is ground propagation. The only thing that would affect long wave slightly is the length of day and night and the noise level. And so long wave usually tends to be better in winter than in summer. But long wave also requires two major things. Very quiet environment. Here if I go to the long wave band here, I've got S6 noise level here. This is what I hear. These are navigation beacons from airports. This one is from the Montreal International Airport here. And it also requires very long antenna, very, very long antennas. Usually, you'll want to have, at least 100 feet of wire to DX long wave. And the last time I DX long wave was about 20 years ago, because where I lived back then there was very low noise, and I had like 150 feet wire outdoors. I was able to put such a long wire. And that's probably the last time I DX'd anything on the long wave band. So long wave is usually not affected much if short wave's bad. Medium wave can be affected. Medium wave can be affected in a positive and a negative side when short wave's bad. Usually geomagnetic storms will make absorption higher in the ionosphere. So medium wave stations will probably not be very strong. But the reverse is true. I've seen times when shortwave propagation is bad, but medium wave would boom in with stations far away. As far as FM and TVDX, that is an interesting part because that is affected by so many factors. When we talk about VHF and UHF signals, what happens is we are in a category of waves that propagate in all sorts of manners. There's, first of all, the low bands, like TVs, channel 2, 3, 4. That might actually propagate farther away. Now, the problem today is that with HD TV signals and no more analog signals, that's a little bit a thing of the past. But FM is an interesting part. FM stations, if you've got a good FM receiver, like, for example, my Grundig G5 Portable is an amazing performer in FM. And when you got a good FM receiver, you can have sporadic E, which happens sometimes in the summer and in the winter months, that elevates the maximum usable frequency. So it sends it all the way up to 90, 100 megahertz, which means that FM signal will actually bounce off the ionosphere like shortwave. But that is a special propagation condition that happens, maybe a dozen times per year. It usually happens when there's a front. I've noticed that when there's a cold front, when it was very hot, there's a big, very active cold front with thunderstorms, they tend to actually have sporadic E, usually with the fronts, and it seems to be close with weather patterns. That is cool because you listen to FM stations, and I've actually DX stations from Alabama, Florida, Texas on the FM band that were as strong and clear as my local FM stations here. And what's nice is that sometimes they, pop in and out, which is pretty cool. So you'll have Alabama strong, then it's going to fade out another station fades in. That could be Florida, and so on. It's pretty cool. And I did a lot of TVDX also. I've DX'd Alabama, Florida, and South and North Carolina on channel 2, 3, and 4. Actually 3 and 4, because channel 2 here was a station. So at channel 3 and 4, I would DX stations from all across the East Coast with just with rabbit ears. You don't even need an outdoor antenna. It's amazing. So and there's also conditions in the VHF, UHF where you have signals that can propagate because of temperature inversions and stuff. There's a lot of weird propagation modes on these frequencies. So the best thing you can do, to put an answer short after my very long lecture on propagation of signals, is the more you like to DX different types of signals, and the more fun you'll have with your radio. So it means that if shortwave is bad, why not try with other types of signals? Why not DX some FM stations, see how far you can hear stations, and there's always something on the radio, always something interesting to listen to. That, never forget about that. So hope it answers very completely your question, Jeff. It's nice to hear from you. Remember, there's a spot where you can send me a question on the Google Plus, Google Hangout page. There's a shortwave radio at, sorry, we're going to start over. Official shortwave radio. That's all in one word. Official shortwave radio at gmail.com. So there's a spot where you can ask a question and send me a little message. So that was a great question, actually. What else can we check here? Just checking out. Okay, I'm just gonna do a little clearing of what needs to be removed so I don't get mixed up. Yeah, that's nice. That's nice. Okay. I'm going to continue with a little bit of questions. One question that comes up often with different... Patrick is using an ALA 100M indoor loop from Walbrook, and he says it's an amazing small loop. I should check into that. That could be interesting, actually, to check for. Hey, Mr. Cooper, hello from the UK. Sorry I didn't see you. Sorry. So, welcome to the Google Hangout. We're at 74 spectators right now, which is cool. And welcome to the Hangout. Patrick, once again, tuning a lot of stations from in 60-meter tropical band. So it's nice to see that propagation goes into. Seems to be nice in the evening at in France, in Europe. One question I have here that I get a lot is, why do I always use my radios on batteries and never use these wall warts? And it's a good question because a lot of people are worried that it costs a lot when you use radios on batteries and stuff. Well, one major answer about this is actually that wall warts bring in too much noise on the radio. Remember that your indoor wiring is like a major antenna, and all your appliances, your HD TVs, and your HD TVs, your computers, and all everything is plugged in your AC outlets in their home. It makes noise, and the wires in your home actually propagate that noise. That's why there's so much noise around this electrically. And so if I plug this in I immediately see the S meter of a portable receiver jump. So I prefer using rechargeable batteries. And with these rechargeable batteries, it doesn't cost that much. And you have the freedom of going wherever you want. And also of finding that little spot in your home where there's less noise. Here it's my kitchen. It's the place where I have less noise. So that's the answer. The short answer is that wall warts bring too much noise. And I've never seen a filter good enough to really filter out the noise in an AC outlet. I want somebody to show me one or build me one. Personally, I have three power bars here that are rated at lowering RFI noise by something like 60 dB. Okay, and all I can say is that when I plug a wall wart in them, there's still noise. So that's the short answer. Another one that I get a lot, and a lot of you guys don't see this, but one of the things that I get a lot is, why the hell are you listening to shortwave radio in 2014 when you can listen to the internet? Well, it's not the same thing. You just can't understand it unless you're a big fan and you really, really want to. There's something about shortwave radio that's just so darn amazing. So darn amazing. So don't ask me that question. There's no short answer, and I know that it's kind of complicated for a lot of you out there. We have I'm sorry, it's like Takamahashi or something like that. I'm really sorry if I get your name wrong. In Tokyo, Japan, watching, and he says he's enjoying the hangout. He doesn't listen to shortwave anymore. He used to do it when he was younger. Where he lives, it's pretty much impossible to listen to the radio because of noise, and he's got a Texan PL600 that he's bought on eBay, and basically listens only to FM stations. And this is somebody that's probably trying to kill someone else with his car. Sorry. You know, a live accident would have been quite a show. I could have put a camera in, but forget it. Yeah, I know that FM stations are really pretty much all you could do with in a very noisy environment, and it's unfortunate. The only thing I could say is do a little, find yourself a park or a spot where there's farther away from buildings and homes, and bring your PL600 piece of wire, do some DXing somewhere more quiet. But indoors, it's very difficult. If I didn't have this with an outdoor antenna, actually, I do probably very little listening. I do listening. I would still do some listening at home, that's for sure. But I do just a little bit of. Still do a little bit of listening, but it's not as good with an outdoor. My friend here, Fastlow, is saying we do it for the sport, and that's it. We do it for the sport. It's like going fishing, Why do you sit around and wait for an hour and a half to get a fish? You just can't explain it. It is for the sport. That's exactly what it is. And, listening to stations from halfway around the world in the noise is like catching that big, humongous fish. It's just amazing feeling. And, understanding radio propagation and all. It's just cool. Another Yahoo group I wanted to mention, by the way, which a little earlier I was saying there was the DX Listening Digest Yahoo group, which is a great spot for radio. Another place that's interesting is the HF Monitors group. HF Monitors group is, first of all, the DXLD is usually much more into, I would say, the shortwave programming and radio stations, international broadcasts side. HF Monitors is another group that's quite nice, very nice, lots of logins. And this one is more of a mixed bag, a lot of utility stuff. So if you are into utility signals, or you want to learn more, that's a great spot to go to also. This one requires a little more effort. The DX Listening Digest, you just ask for membership and tell them a little bit about yourself, who you are. But in the HF Monitors, they'll ask you not only who you are and are you listening to the radio, but they do require, they're relaxed on the rules, but they do require that you at least once a month post something about the radio, which is not very difficult for me, but could be difficult if you're not a regular radio user generally. So that's another great spot, HF Monitors. And it's a nice place where there's a lot of great people that can answer also your questions. We have Steve that is located in, where is he located? No. Okay, Steve is located in Florida, and he's just got off work and jumped on his computer to watch the Hangout. Great show, and that he's going to watch the YouTube archive of the Hangout after to see what he missed at the beginning. So hi, welcome to Google Hangout. We are at 66 spectators, which is not bad at all. So I'm just going to go back to 25. I'm going to go tune down. Let's take a peek at Kuwait. Kuwait is there with pop music. So that's one thing. Voice of America. I believe they are from an African transmitter site right here. So, okay, Jeff, thank you. Thanks. Jeff got a Kato KA1103, which I believe is, let me just check it out, but I believe the Kato KA1103 is pretty much KA1103. Is that what I think? Yeah, I think it is. Yeah, that's it. The Kato KA1103 is basically the Degen DE1103. He's using a Sony AN-LP1 loop. And he has the Japanese version, which has noise filter, which helps a lot. And yeah, unfortunately, he's in a basement apartment. Not a great place for DX, obviously. Yeah, unfortunately, the lower we go, the worse it is. I'm lucky to live like in a pretty much what is the third story of the home here. I'm the top level, so it's easier for me to listen to radio. And the way the island of Montreal is made, it's at one of its highest points, pretty much where I live. So that is also something that helps a lot, and especially on VHF, UHF. For people that don't know what the Kato KA1103 is, let me just take a peek. Yeah, here it is, in one of my $1 million radios. Try not to break anything. So the Kato KA1103, for those that don't know what it is the DGen DE1103. It's this. This is a receiver, which is a very nice receiver. Very interesting the way they did it here. Really cool. So this is the equivalent of the Kato KA1103. And that's a great radio, by the way. One of my favorites, that's for sure, as a shortwave radio. To give you an idea, we'll try Radio Kuwait using this portable receiver. Number 5, 5, 4, oh. It is there. We hear it a little bit. And I get a little farther away from the computers. So this is a great receiver, by the way. If you don't know what to buy, this is one of those cool ones. Would it be my first choice? No, not necessarily. Probably, if I had to buy a receiver right now, my first choice would go to the Tecsun PL880. It's more expensive, but if you buy the latest firmware version, that's what you got to be careful about the Tecsun PL880. The older ones have firmware problems, but the new firmware apparently is excellent, and the radio is really good. So cool. Really nice to see what you guys use as radio. What do you guys use as radios? Why not send me a message at officialshortwaveradio@gmail.com. Obviously, there's 64 people right now. I've got maybe 9 person that send me a message. Why not tell me what you guys are using as a receiver? What antenna do I use with my DX Patrol SDR? Because I have bought in China, but I have poor reception with a 3 meters wire antenna and shortwave, and VHF is great. First of all, I had to play a lot with the settings to get shortwave to come in well. That's one thing you need to know. The DX Patrol SDR worked well after I've understood how to set up properly the RF gain. There's kind of a way of setting it that you need to really be careful. If you're not set right, you know, the thing works bad. So you really need to get the right setting for it to work perfectly. And that took me a day, at least a day or two, before I was close to what seems to be nice. The antenna I used was the same antenna I'm using right now for this receiver, which is about 40 feet. If I check it out, it's about 40 feet. 40 feet long wire that is hung from about the start of my balcony in the backyard into a tree in the neighbor. So it's about 35, 40 feet long. That's the antenna I'm using right now. That's what I was using with the SDR. VHF is actually, you know what, you say VHF is great. I personally found VHF to be okay. Great is a little, maybe I haven't used the proper antenna with it. Maybe I'll have to check it out with a good, or maybe I have to tweak the settings also. But on shortwave, you really need to tweak the settings, especially the RF gain. You have to set things right for it to perform well. And of course, you need to have the lowest noise possible, even though I do have a lot of noise. So basically, should actually work well. One of the problems you might have depending on what you are using as a computer. And that would be something that maybe is the problem with your case. Some computers are very noisy when you plug in something in the USB port. And that could be one of the problems with the SDR receiver. You know, that little SDR doesn't have a lot of filtering. And so when you plug something like that in your computer, the computer's noise will go in the SDR. And an example with that, if I used my SDR receiver with my other Toshiba computer that has a, it's a generic power supply because the original power supply died, forget it. I'm not even able to listen to shortwave on the SDR receiver with that. So that's one thing you got to be careful how noisy your computer is. If it's a laptop, unplug the power supply and check if it works better with the batteries. Most laptops that I've seen on batteries are very low noise. Amazing. It's really surprising. These laptop computers seem to be much better at noise than desktops. And if you're using a desktop, the desktop power supply could be a big problem with your SDR. And it will show more on the HF side than on VHF, UHF. Usually, you see that the higher in frequency you go, the less interference you get from your computers. Because most of the oscillators in the computers are in lower frequencies. So that could be something that's happening with your SDR, Marcus. So check that out. And okay, so from I started from listening from the UK, listening to SDR, here saying compare signals. Yeah, why not? You guys in Europe should have some nice signals in the 25-meter band. Huh? Lots of Radio Martin. There's Radio Romanian French, 11975. 25-meter band opening up to Europe now quite a lot. For my friend in Chile, let's just check it out. Still not coming in yet because it's just too early in the day, but 11780 usually comes with Radio Nacional Amazonas. This is a very weak all India radio. You guys in Europe should hear this much better than me. What else here? Let's see those. This is all India radio, I think, also in France.
Row Alpha Tau.
This is American stations. This is the BBC from Ascension Islands. This is Oman, the Sultanate of Oman in Arabic. They have English from 13, 14, or 14, 15, I think it's 14, 15, UTC. Notice how the bands are quiet compared to the good old days. Propagation is not at its best. Radio Kuwait, signal improving a lot. Anyone hearing WJCR in Florida? Upper side band. That's something you guys could try for. You guys in Europe, let me know if you hear this one, 15550 WJCR in Florida. Very low power transmitter, a few kilowatts only.
I'll make it very clear when Jesus showed us where there's always multitudes of people that will talk to him, that will follow him, even those that might not have believed in him and trusted in him, that will still love the people.
Mostly religious programming, some kind of preacher, of course. So that's one to try for. Let's see, Voice of America. Let's go back to 25 and I'll do my 5 megahertz tuning down. Time's really going fast here. We are at 66 spectators, which is quite nice for a Google Hangout, especially midday. What do we have here? I'm going to check the email. So official shortwaveradio@gmail.com if you want to write us. You can write us anytime, by the way, and I like to regularly check for emails. It's nice to hear from you guys. Okay, in the email we have another, yeah, okay, we have Jenny that is located in Barbados. Wow. Welcome to the Google Hangout. She says that she listens to shortwave with an old Philco radio. The only thing that she gets is the strongest stations. Yep, strongest stations, and she loves it. She loves the feel of old radios, and that she likes to listen at night. So it's cool. Yeah, these old tube radios are just fantastic. I have a few here, and you know, I need to maybe make a nice spot here about this, and so. Yeah. Then, okay, and we have Frank that is in New Mexico, Roswell, New Mexico. And he says that he loves the Hangout, was there on the last Hangouts. The first time that he actually wants to say hi. There's always first, and I hope the other 60 spectators are going to say hi. A lot of quiet people. You know, in these live events, it's always very, very quiet, because in pretty much every live event, you have a ton of people watching, but just a little bit of people that actually are going to participate into the event itself. But at least, you know, we have people watching. So, yeah, we're going to say it again. You can participate by sending a question and answer stuff on the, if you have a question, there's a spot in the Google Hangout where you can actually send me a question. So this is where I'm watching that screen. And if you want to send me something, a question or anything, you can send me an email at officialshortwaveradio@gmail.com. Hey, great picks from our friend David. Hi, David. That's a great Raptor 22 Stealth. I made 3 picks just minutes ago while watching the Hangout. Can you identify some radio equipment I have in my shack? I'm listening right now to music from Kuwait on 15540 using the speakers in the shelf. Okay. He's uploaded some videos on his YouTube channel, so it's a great thing to check it out. So let's see the pictures. Okay, first of all, there's a Texan on the left side. I have to actually make it bigger. Let's check it out. So we have a Texan receiver on the left side, another little Chinese receiver on the. Oh, you've got the DSP-40, the same DSP-40 digital signal processing here. I recognize it right there. Oh, that is nice, and it's fun to see my picture. So let's just show. I don't know if you can see it, but he took a picture from his shack. Here, so let's just put it a little smaller here, and which is quite nice. With his computer, my face in a Hangout, and there we go. A little Texan on the left side, another Chinese portable. This unit here is the same unit that I have here, which is a digital signal processor. It's interesting to see. Nice. Wow. Hey, thanks for the pic. It's cool to see that myself from somebody else's computer. It's cool. Really cool. What else do you have here? Oh, he's got the SDR receiver plugged in. As I see here, it seems to have an SDR. And what is that? Okay, it's that little receiver here. Interesting. This is that's the CR1, yeah. It's cool to see the CR1 receiver. I know you're enjoying your CR1 receiver a lot, and a lot of people that I talk to seem to enjoy these receivers. So this is David's CR1 shortwave receiver. It's really cool. So nice to see the equipment in your shack. It's always fun to see somebody else's shack also. It's always nice. And of course, it's always fun to have a noisy background when I'm talking. So wow, it's some really nice pictures, and yep, and he's talking about loop antennas for low noise. Of course, yep, that is really, really something to check for. Hey, thanks for the pictures, and it's really, really nice to see. One question that I get from a lot of people is, can you talk a little bit about number stations? Well, number stations are basically spy stations from different countries. You know, one thing that somebody told me once is, why do they use shortwave when you could use the internet? And that is a good question. That's for sure. But the thing is, the internet, you need an internet access. Of course, with cell phones today and all, it's easy. And I'm sure a lot of spies do get their main, their main instructions through the internet in some way. It's probably the major part of what spies do. But there's still a lot of number stations, and I think one of the reasons is, you know, remember one thing. If you have a good spy station that gives a great signal, you could be in the middle of, say, a combat zone in Ukraine where no internet is working, where maybe cell towers are down and so no phone service, and still be able to communicate with your spies as long as he has just a small portable radio with him. And I think that's one of the reasons, because it is true that it's complicated to, you know, build just the stations to send numbers for spies. And, you know, there's this mystery all around it, and if you want to learn more, check my channel. There's a great video where I show you a Numbers and Oddities, which is a number station website where they have great newsletters each month with loggings of different stations they hear, so on. It's pretty cool. So a lot of people say, well, you know, how do you get these number stations? Well, there are some schedules, and, you know, by going through websites, you'll see that there are schedules from stations. But you know what? These are usually lower powered than usual. So if you already have a lot of noise where you live, it could be a little difficult to actually receive them. But that is, you know, part of the challenge of listening to the radio and, you know, logging these stations. A little earlier, we had our friend listening to the buzzer on 46.5, so pretty interesting. So I'm going to tune down from 25 to 20. I promised I would do so and see what we can hear, and also comment what can we hear usually. The first thing you'll encounter below 25 is the 12 meter amateur radio band, which is a very small amateur radio band, just 100 kilohertz large. Just below, goes from 24,890 to 24,990. Nothing much here. And I would say from 24,900 all the way down to 22,000 kilohertz or 22 megahertz. Utility signals, mostly, which will get through. I'll go fast to it because I don't think there's going to be a lot of stuff here. So, depending on where you are in propagation conditions, there could be some radio teletype digital modes and stuff like that. You see here it's pretty quiet. This is my cable modem. Propagation is not that great because in 22 megahertz I often hear stuff. And there we go down. Here and at 21 megahertz we start with the 13 meter international broadcast band. It's a very quiet band these days. You know, with that propagation and all, a lot of stations have just stopped using the 13 meter band. And in the lower part, 21 megahertz, is a 15 meters amateur radio band. This is a popular band. An upper sideband. You can tell propagation is not good when you don't hear nothing on 15 meters. There's some radio teletype here. Which brings us to a little subject I want to talk about today before we stop the Google Hangout. Really goes fast, man. It's an hour and a half now in the Google Hangout. It's pretty quick. The propagation's not really good. So we're back at 20 megahertz, where we have WWV time signal. And you can see how propagation changes. When I started the Google Hangout, if you guys saw the beginning, 20 megahertz had WWV with quite a good signal here. It's gone. So something is happening in the propagation right now. That's for sure. That is for sure. So let's see. We've got down to 20 megahertz. Hey, Mr. Scott. Hey, Scott. Thanks for watching. Sorry you have to go to work. These are these, you know, there's these times sometimes when we're having fun and watching, and it's like, okay, gotta go. Fortunately, it happens to us all. We are not millionaires. And so thanks for being there, and you won't miss a lot. You know, I still have half an hour, and I'm gonna keep my schedule because I have something that needs to be done afterwards. So I'm not gonna, you know, make it. In September. That's one thing that I want to talk about. Another thing I want to talk about is ways to enjoy your shortwave hobby. Also, that's a question that was asked, you know, by someone that was watching my videos and says, "Look, I see that you do so many things, different things on your shortwave radio. Not only do you listen to international broadcasts, but also you listen to stations, but you also listen to digital signals of all sorts, decode stuff on your computer." That is the best way to actually enjoy your shortwave hobby, is to diversify your shortwave listening. In shortwave, there's not just international broadcasters. There's also digital signals of all sorts, which are utility signals. The amateur radio bands, great source of DXing if you like to DX countries, and maybe it's gonna, you know, make you want to become an amateur radio operator. And you know, tune in all those signals, learn how to decode with your computer these digital signals. I think that's the best thing you can do, actually. So why not tune these different signals and, you know, take a peek at my videos where you will, you know, learn more and more and maybe become an amateur radio operator. Who knows? So interesting picture here of my friend Fastlow that actually is watching the Hangout on his, I believe, his iPad with a beer, is shortwave radio, which is an old Sony ICF 2010, and he's got an ICOM ICR20 like this one here. And so enjoying the beautiful day outside and watching the Hangout. Actually, perfect way. You know, I gotta show the picture because it's just so beautiful. Here's my friend watching the Hangout, and is set up outside of his home. It's pretty cool. Nice little setup. Nice beer. No alcohol for me. This is a juice, only juice. And so it's pretty nice to see that he's watching. So that's nice here. One thing I want to talk about is future Hangouts. Now, we're at 61 spectators. We're going to have future Hangouts, and a lot of people have been complaining, well, not complaining, but just saying, hey man, when are you going to do your next Hangout? We love those. And so all summer, you know, I was getting repeatedly sent questions. When's the next Hangout? When's the next Hangout? When's the next Hangout? And so what we're going to do, actually, is make Hangouts weekly Hangouts. They're going to be shorter most of the time. But Hangouts, unless I have a specific schedule, Hangouts can be from anywhere from, you know, oh yeah, DX440. I was it's a DX440, by the way, the radio from Fastload. That's I don't know why I was in the Sony ICF 2010. It looks alike. It really these seem. It's not a Sony, I know. It's a realistic DX440. Sorry. Okay. So for the next Hangouts, I will post a schedule of Hangouts, and we will go through this schedule. Now, what's going to be difficult in the Hangouts is that the schedule is not going to be at the same time every day, because I want to have the maximum number of people that can watch it. And for example, today, lots of Europeans and you know, even some North Americans that might be working in the evening or so on, that aren't on a schedule that they can watch the Hangouts all the time. So we will have next week a schedule that I will be posting, and that schedule will contain a weekly Hangout. Every week we're going to have one. Some are going to be really short, 1 hour. Some can go on and on for hours. We never know. So look for that on my YouTube channel. I will also be posting on the X Listening Digest group and also the HF Monitors group about half an hour to an hour before the Hangouts, to let everybody know that I am live on the internet. And these Hangouts are going to have all sorts of, you know, DX news. I'll be checking out the different news sources and picking out some of the DX news that might be interesting. Of course, we're going to DX stations if anything special. I want these Hangouts to have the maximum possibility between each other, and check it out. You know, check out stations, and you know, we can compare signals of different stations. So sorry, here I was just looking at or Mr. Cooper that says 15550 kilohertz, just faint on his SDR. Propagation very bad, above 10 megahertz for me at the moment. Yeah. So thanks for checking out. It's nice to know. So, and the Hangouts are going to be weekly. There's always, you know, there could be a week or sometimes that I'll pass a week, but I will really keep that schedule tight, and we want to exchange the maximum number of information, and, you know, compare our radio listening together and see. So 15570 Vatican Radio from the Vatican in French right now. 15570, by the way. 2030, I believe. Yeah. It's a little weak. Weaker than usual, but Radio Japan in French from Madagascar relay station, 11950 kilohertz. That's something I listen to, and this one will come stronger and stronger as we're getting into fall. So weekly hangouts coming up. They're not going to start next week. They're going to start next week. I'm posting a schedule, and starting the week after next week, again 2 weeks, regular hangouts, anywhere from 1 hour to an amazing number of hours, depending on what time of day and my schedule. If I've got nothing to do, of course I will go on and chat and answer any questions. And that's also one thing I want to have with everybody watching is please send out these questions. So my friend Fastball just uploaded his antenna setup on my Google Plus page here on YouTube. Pretty cool. It's nice to watch. His antenna, which is basically a clothesline, where you hang your clothes. I actually used to do that at a certain time until the clothesline broke down because it was just too old. Do a little tuning of the 25 meter band here, so I'm going to compare. I'll fire up my station list here, and we'll try to see what we can hear. That buzzing sound is, by the way, the power supply of the radio itself. It is a switching power supply that makes a buzzing sound, which is not cool. So let's tune the 25 meter band live here on the Google Hangout, and maybe you guys can tune along and see what you can hear. So you can see the time here. It's 2040 UTC. And let's compare our signals on the 25 meter band. So I'm starting at 11,500, going up slowly. I'm going to put the little 10 dB attenuation here.
So we're all operating in the spirit and in the power of Elijah. We're all in the process of restoration, being restored and helping to restore. Now, we are in Elijah, and I'm going to tell you. This is Brother Stare from the WRMI transmitter site in Florida. This is a very weak all-India radio. This comes in much better than that usually. So it shows you that propagation is horrible today. This would probably be Radio Algerian, so this would be Algeria via France in Arabic. This is Caribbean Beacon. This is from the Anguilla Island. It's basically preacher religious programming. This would be probably really National as well, starting to pop in here. KBS World Radio from direct from Korea. Or not. No, this is the BBC. Sorry. BBC from Ascension Islands. Correction. Ascension Islands is the South Atlantic Ocean. This is
broadcasting of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Radio Havana, Cuba. In Portuguese. This is also the broadcasting of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Radio Marti from the United States. Radio Japan. Radio Romanian English, great signal. Marcus sending me a little message saying, well, you know, on shortwave you can also receive marine broadcasts like fax and postal stations. Have you ever received them? Yep. I've heard many postal stations from the U.S. Coast Guard decoded many weather charts, also receiving NAVTEX digital signals. Yep. A lot of signals. Never heard the Chile marine station though. That's something I need to try for. That would be a good DX actually.
The program will continue until 2020, by which time we will have finished insulating hundreds of buildings across the town.
This is Radio France. Voice of America. This is WEWN from the United States. This is the BBC, Read BBC, that's from, at this time they are from Ascension Island Broadcasting. And that's pretty much what we hear right now on 25-meter band here. But things are going to improve. You know what? As we're getting into fall, propagation is getting better. I like, you know, September, October are great months. Just like March and April, great months for propagation for radio signal towards a lot of parts around the world. So we're going to slowly wrap it up. We're going to check for questions and stuff. Okay. And shortwave. Okay, we have Paul. Answer your question. For shortwave, you've used an ICOM ICRD 500, which is this receiver. Bought it after I saw your reviews and instruction videos. Cool. And as a ham operator, I got his license last year. He's got an ICOM IC 7600, which is a nice ham radio rig. And he's been very happy with that box. And he just moved to a new house, and unfortunately, did not have the time yet to put up an antenna. Hey, there's always time to put up an antenna. Just, you know, one day, hope to see that you'll put up an antenna and maybe you know, maybe I'll hear you on the bands, the ham bands. Like listening to the ham bands. That's one thing that I want to do, and I'll be checking out this this fall for a ham radio license. And that's also a series of videos where I want to actually, what I personally want to do is not only make a video of how I where I went and how I did my, my research to get my ham license where I am, but also show you maybe what a ham radio class looks like. Ask maybe somebody that is one of those teachers in a ham class why they became ham radio operators and so on. And finally, I have the last video of me getting my ham ticket, and maybe it's going to help a lot of you get your ham ticket. I would say that a lot, not all, but most amateur radio operators that I've known and I hear about were shortwave listeners before they became ham radio operators. You know what? I became interested in shortwave because of basically two people. One is my father that bought all these multiband radios. So basically, I was curious. I was 12 years old, 11 years old, wanted to tune and see what we could hear, and I found it just so fascinating. The second is my sister, my brother-in-law, was an amateur radio operator, and that also made me want to listen more to the radio. I've never had that kick to become an amateur radio operator, and I think the reason I never had the kick is because I never had a good place to put up an antenna. And even though you don't need that really fancy antenna, you do need something, a minimum of antenna to actually do some ham radio operating, because you'll transmit a signal and not to interfere with anyone also. So, but I'm getting that little itch now. I feel like I want to have my ham ticket, and of course I'll be putting videos so that everybody can see how I became a ham radio operator, and and maybe I'll do a new channel, my ham radio operator channel. I already have a channel that I call I think it's Amateur Radio Logbook, which is a separate channel from my channel, and that channel is actually just loggings of AM stations, and I love it because I get all these replies from all around the world of amateur radio operators that are telling me that they find it so cool that I posted a video of their signal as received from my setup here in Montreal. So I think it's pretty cool, and I think that's fun. So we are getting to the end of the Hangout, 9 minutes left. I want to thank everyone for being here. We are down to 50 people watching right now. I'll show you a little something here. My friend Fastlow showing his antenna, and also listening to Radio Kuwait on 15540. So let's just start it at the beginning here and show you a little bit here. So just go from here. You can hear me in the background. I'm just listening to Radio Kuwait 15540 on this Realistic DX440. I really messed up. It was not a Sony receiver. It's a Realistic DX440, which is a nice little receiver we had. So here we are. There's a little receiver here. So nice video that you just made of everything coming together. I want to thank everyone. So like I said, thanks for being here. One of the first things that you need to know is that without you guys telling me that you like my videos and the Hangouts, there would not be anything like this. And I really am happy to share my knowledge which is not perfect and which is missing all sorts of little parts here and there. And you know, I think what's cool about having a gang like we are on the radio, we help each other. We can comment on each other's antennas, setup, give comments on what you can improve or not, and you know, help each other out in what is a complex hobby, but one of the great hobbies I think that we can have, which is radio listening and shortwave radio in general. Write to the stations you listen to. I do it regularly because it's important for them to know we are listening. One of the major reasons they, you know, leave the airwaves is money, but also the lack of response. If you make a program and nobody listens to it, of course nobody will ever want you to, you know, they'll just stop because nobody is listening. Hope the hangout was cool, that the you know, video held up for everyone. With a new router, you never know, sometimes it can have dropouts and stuff. Things went really well. I'm really happy. Fast, you know, like a flash. Don't hesitate if you want to contact me, of course. You've got the usual YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/official SWL channel. You also have the possibility of reaching me anytime. Sorry for the phone here. You have the possibility of reaching me anytime on officialshortwaveradio@gmail.com. That's officialshortwaveradio@gmail.com. I always read my mail, and I'm happy to answer any questions and to, you know, help out. Sometimes people are a little shy. They don't want to ask questions in front of other people. They just want to ask private questions. Out the way, there aren't stupid questions. Never. And if you ask yourself a question, there's a lot of people that are probably asking themselves that same question. So thanks for being here. We are now leaving the hangout by 73 everyone. I hope everybody enjoyed the hangout. I talk a lot, you know, I'm a big mouth, so as you see here, I don't have, I rarely don't know what to say. Look for the schedule. Next week I'm posting a video of the schedule of the hangouts, and it's going to be really a mixed schedule, you know. Hangouts in the morning, in the afternoon, in the evening, and we'll try to reach everyone in weekdays, weekends. I think it's the best way to reach everyone and give everyone a possibility. Probably the next hangout that I want to do is on a Sunday. I've never done a Sunday hangout. I think I did Saturday hangouts, but never did a Sunday hangout. So give me your comments if you want to tell me what you'd like more, less, something I could change. Don't hesitate. And thank you all for being here. It's a great pleasure to make these hangouts. Bye-bye, my friends. 73.